Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I feel like a lot of us want direction, answers. Why is life the way it is right now? Maybe you are looking for a goal you're achieving. Maybe you don't even know what your purpose is. You're trying to figure that out. She's got answers for you. She is a intuitive storyteller, card reader, and so much more. She's back with us. And I never know what to expect, to be honest with you. When she shows up, I don't know what's going to happen. Janis Reed is back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing better every day, better every day. Getting like we mentioned earlier, I'm getting my land legs back underneath me. Been a long time since it's just been me and nobody else to account for me too. My children are terrified.
Mm.
It's like mom's got the keys to the Rolls Royce. She's not doing tequila, is she? Um,
I can relate in many ways. Having ended a relationship a few years ago, it's a change. Definitely is a change.
yeah, yeah, it's getting harder and harder to blame somebody else for where I laid it down. That's why I have a cat. It's going to be her fault. I have to have somebody.
I got two and
But
a dog.
you got too much. That's too many. That's too many handfuls.
Oh, one quick story.
Do
I'm waiting for the dog to poop because
that is an unusual study habit.
it's like I'm waiting for a baby to be birthed. He well, the cats, I had Italian food the other night, and there was some Italian bread in some tinfoil on the counter. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think they would be interested in it. Put the rest of the food away, didn't get to that yet. And I come walking downstairs a little while later, and the dog doesn't go on the counter. So the cats must have taken um, the
Let's screw with
bread
the
in the
dog.
foil, knocked it on the floor, and of course, the dog saw it, so he got into it. Not huge pieces of bread, but I'm sure he had the bread, the majority of it. I don't think the cats could get there fast enough. And I'm sure some tinfoil went along with that. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for some shiny poop to appear.
That's gonna hurt. Yeah,
It was the softer tinfoil though, so I'm not as
bless
concerned.
its
And
heart.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, you know what? It's fun having them around. They companionship, and they're just they're sweet. They're sweet. I'm sure, as your
Yeah.
cat is.
Oh, sure. When she's getting her way, sure.
So
Yeah, we lived across next door to a couple that had a Labrador, big black Labrador. The veterinarian was terrified when the dog first walked in. There was an 11-inch span between the dog's ears. This was a huge monster. His name was Nathan. Nathan had one terrifying habit. He would walk in your house and get happy and swing that big tail and knock everything off of everything
uh
just because he was happy. So it's been probably 40 or better years since, but it's still Nathan's fault whenever something drops. That dog was so happy. He just
well,
wagged.
how can you get mad at that?
You couldn't. Our cat, he came in one time. A neighbor had brought over a dog, a little poodle dog. And because we were just moving in, she was coming over to spec the new neighbors. My mother had her hook her dog's leash up to the legs of the coffee table so that we could walk around this 3-story monstrous house and the little doggy would be okay. We heard her yelping a few minutes later. Our cat had let her chase him around the legs of the table so that she had, in effect, strangled herself. He was sitting about a foot away, just kind of looking at her, licking his paws.
Wow. I
Dogs and cats.
a lot of people say, oh, they're if they're non-cat people, that they're mean, they're all to themselves. I see it completely the other way around. Maybe it's my cats. They're friendly. I walk in, I'm like, Rocco, give me a kiss. He jumps up on the counter, he gives me a kiss. I would
Yep.
say 99% of the time. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he's got fish breath, so I don't know if I want him that close, but whatever.
No tongue. No, just kisses. I get tongue licks on my nose a lot. That's cute. She'll jump up in the morning and like lick my nose.
Yep. Yeah, kind of what he does. Kind of what he does. Or like have a little bit of, facial hair here. He kind of like rubs his head in there. I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess he thinks I'm, one of the pack. I don't know.
So why do you think animals, small animals in the house, are so popular with people? Think
I
of
don't know. Maybe
cats,
it's their maybe it's
dogs,
their energy.
parakeets,
Why do you think?
big pot-bellied pigs. There's some sort of companionship thing. I've always wondered about it because, they can't really talk back, but they do talk back. So what you think they say to you can argue because if your sister said it, they meant something else, you can argue about it. And nobody knows but the cat, and the cat doesn't even know what we're arguing about. It's like a little private friend with a breathing, living cousin, however distant, that cannot really tell on you,
Hmm.
except if it's
Hmm.
a minor bird.
Never had birds. That's just not my thing. I don't know.
Yeah, my aunt taught a minor bird to talk. Trouble was she was an alcoholic and a cusser. You walk up to the house, somebody's at the damn door. Check the damn door. His name was Damn Bird. Mm-hmm.
Damn bird. Well,
Yeah, yeah, it's his favorite word. So, um, I've decided to do something new
what's that?
as we leave our pets and our deep loving care of our pets. Wintertime's coming, and we're coming back inside again. It is not. It's just barely above freezing here. I mean, it is cold up here in the mountains. I'm up here with Lex Luthor in the top of the mountain peaks where all the icicles are.
Uh,
uh, Winter's going to settle in on me. And unlike most of the people listening, when it settles in here, I may or may not be able to talk to the outside world. Every once in a while, I get lucky and the lines go down, and it's just me and a candle and a wood stove, and water that may or may not need to be dredged from the creek. It's just really old fashioned 200 years ago type living.
wow.
I feel lucky when that happens because the phone doesn't ring.
Hmm.
Well, as I thought about that, since we've been talking, I've been really hesitant to give out my phone number, simply because I had someone else living here in the house that I didn't want to be disturbed by the telephone ringing. Of course, it rang anyway. It disturbed you and me more than once. Um, but I wanted to offer a winter's tale, if you would, to the people listening. For 30 minutes, you and I will talk, or I will talk, and I'll tell you a story. It can be a story that you need to hear because you have a serious question you want responded to. I can read The Night Before Christmas to you over the telephone. For 30 minutes and $100 prepaid, I'm yours. We'll work on that knee that hasn't quite fixed after the operation. We'll work on your shoulder muscles. We'll figure out that dream that's been nagging at you now for the last 11, 12 years. I'm yours. What I do is I open up and spirit speaks through me, and I am a hollow bone. And for this, I ask gas money. $100 for a half an hour. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you hope to hear, and I'll deliver for you. And for 30 minutes, you'll be my focal point. From now until January 1st, my time, Eastern United States, at midnight. From
Hmm.
now until then, for 30 minutes, call me up. Now, you might want to know, well, how do I call you up? Well, you cannot text me. The only way you can text me is to go to Janis Reed at Facebook. That's it. Because I live in the 19th century, I have a landline.
And that's because of essentially your location up in the mountains, right?
It is my location. I am close between two mountain peaks in the little valley, and the cell tower which is less than a quarter of a mile away as the bird flies, does not reach me. There's no cell service here.
Wow.
When I talk with you, I'm not going to be looking at text messages. I'm not going to be flipping through and shopping on Google. I'm going to be talking to you. We can arrange a face-to-face through Messenger at Facebook, or you can get your pen ready and write down this telephone number. Take into account any country codes you might need if you're calling from out of the United States. The local area code is 1276 579 2883. This is Eastern Time in the United States. Leave a message. Tell me your name. Tell me your phone number I can call you back at. Tell me when the best time to return your call. That's it. Don't leave me your life story. Don't tell me what you want from me. Simply leave me your name and your phone number and your location on the globe. I'll get back to you. You're going to send me some money, $100. And for 30 minutes, we can mix it up. I can tell you Frosty the Snowman and The Night Before Christmas if you'd like.
Or
Or
I do want to share, because you've done it before. You can also get intuitive insight coming from you. And that can come in many different ways. You could do a card reading. Let's say somebody wants do you do tarot cards and oracle, or just one, both, or what?
I have a collection of about maybe 40 decks of different cards.
Wow.
Outside of that, I read sound. So when you tell me I hear your voice, I'm reading you. If you want a reading from me, when we talk and make the appointment, I'm picking up information from you. I'm connecting to you. And that night, I'm going to dream about you. I'm going to hear your voice. You might even find me in your dreams. I have a different way of finding information for people. I literally plug in or get plugged in. I'm still not sure about that. I am Heyoka. I speak for the Creator, not for myself, not even for my clients, really, except to try to serve and help them have better lives, more connected to themselves. That's why I take the money first. That way you don't have to worry about it. At that point, I'm not after it for the money. If I was, I could hang up and you'd never hear from me.
Well,
so pay me first. That way it gets it out of the way. Nobody has to worry about it after that. Done with. We put it on the calendar, and for that length of time, you and I are plugged in. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. I'll tell you a story, and it might make you pleased. And you'll find out more about me and yourself, and it'll beat all the hell out of that dumb elf on the shelf.
but as I understand it, the exchange of money, if you will, needs to happen energetically. And I just learned this recently, that there needs to be something in exchange. And this, of course, it's for your time, but that you're giving someone, but you're also doing an exchange of energy. It needs to go both ways. It can't be just one way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you said something, Janis, before that made me wonder, made me think that you listen to somebody's voice and then that's kind of the starting point for what you do. I never knew that.
You'd be surprised what I'm not going to tell you about yourself.
Well, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you should think about it. Yeah, it's the vibration of sound. It's easy to pick up if somebody's sad or happy or manic, but it's a little bit more fine-tuned to tune in and listen to what their heart beats for, what their dreams circle around their heads are like. It isn't something everyone can do. It isn't something other everyone who does something similar is conscious enough of letting go to allow to happen. There's a lot of people who do things similar to me, read for people who feel they have to be in control, to which I throw back my head and I laugh maniacally because I'm not telling God that I'm going to control. I'm not going to go tell a teacher and poke the bear that I'm just this little peon and I'm going to be in control. I don't think it works that way. I work much more humbly than I sound because talking to my fellows like I'm talking to you, we're all pretty much the same. We're brilliant, we're smart, we're good looking. Most of us don't smell too bad. There's good people out in the world that are listening in. When I listen in and I'm going to find information for that person, either for a specific malady or a habit, some transition, I don't like to know exactly what I'm looking for first. I like to hear what Spirit has to say. This is why people call me to do it, because they can't do it themselves. It's very difficult to quiet our own minds enough to hear the stories being whispered in our ears when we ask for help. When we ask for help, our hearts are beating hard, we're breathing hard, we're looking at the checkbook, shaking our head, freaking out because, the kid's got to have the orthodontics. And we cannot hear ourselves think. We cannot hear ourselves. We cannot hear. That's where I come in. I'm a paid earpiece, mouthpiece, nosepiece. I don't smell too bad. I am able to step in to your vibration, that sound of your voice that only you create. I can mimic my own vibration to that, close enough that I can help you effect change for yourself. When I talk with you, I talk to you one way, I talk to somebody else another way, because of the different vibrations, pitches, the sound of different people, different groups. My ear is tuned. I had a neighbor, she's been playing piano and church organ for years, and she'd never heard me utter a single sound of music. But I had this silly song stuck in my head, and so I hummed her a few bars and la it out. And she looked at me, she said, "Oh my goodness, you've got good pitch." And well, yeah, I work with sound. Your sound, her sound, piano sound. It's why I like living where I live. There are not a lot of artificial sounds surrounding me. I mean, there are some, but I cannot hear the kid play tuba next door. I do hear the cows when they moan and bellow, and the foxes laugh, and the coyotes howl, but I don't hear radio broadcast, which is good, because when it's very quiet, I listen to radio broadcasts. I just sit in the yard and listen.
Now, when you say you listen, are you listening traditionally on a radio, or you're getting them?
I'm listening to the radio waves. I am the radio. So it comes through my head and I just pick it up. It's a little talent I learned that I could do years ago that's kind of cool. It irritates me sometimes, though, like when I don't get the channel in really well and it's from Cuba, or Russia, and it's some language I don't speak, so it's hard for me to understand what I'm listening to until music comes on, and then it's a good time.
Well, I want to bring up a point for anybody that hears this and says, "Really? Come on."
Poppycock.
Haven't heard that one in a long time. We're all energy. It's been proven. People like that guy Einstein, he proved it, and others. Energy is vibration.
Mm-hmm.
What is your voice? What is sound? It's vibration. The little hairs in your ear pick up on the vibration, and that's why we can hear it. Same thing with radio waves. When a radio station or any transmitter sends a signal, it is a vibration that goes in the air, and our receiver is able to pick up that vibration. If you're on FM, you could be transmitting on 103.9 megahertz, millions of hertz. Hertz is uh, just
The measurement.
a measurement, but it's also vibration. So you pick it up in a different way, or somehow you've been able to receive these things.
It's because of my gold back hair in the back of my mouth. No.
I don't know how you do it. I don't really care. It's the fact that you do.
Yeah, it's interesting because I can play with what I'm able to do and not feel like I'm intruding in on somebody else's life. I don't want to tune into the neighbor's house. That's why I live out here. I don't want to know.
Mm.
Um,
That's interesting too, because let's say you walk somewhere. Let's say you go into town and then you have people pass by you. Are you picking up vibrations from them?
I'm trying hard not to, because I've learned different ways to be able to walk in amongst them, to walk amongst you, and I kind of walk around inside of a barrel. But yeah, I can pick it up. There's strong emotions are hard for me to ignore. Whether I do anything about them or not, how I respond is different. But if there's a hard emotion, like a little baby that's hungry, I almost have to leave the store because I just want to go find the child and shove something in its mouth, and feed that child because it's such an emotional plea. Babies are such beggars. They
But
find out
okay,
early on.
so I have a question based
Go
on
for
that.
it.
When let's say there's a baby and the baby's crying and whatever it needs to be fed. Let's just say that. Are you picking up on that emotion more than the rest of us would? Like if we hear a baby crying, and a lot of times it's crying for a reason, obviously. It's hungry, it's tired, diaper change. Typically it's the top three right there. But you can tell when it's, the baby really needs something to eat at that moment.
Yeah, it's a
We
different sound than my diapers are full.
but we get it. We're picking up on it in one way. Are you getting it in another way? That is so much stronger where you're just like, whoa, like, in terms of being empathetic, are you like, whoa,
Yeah, it's sort of
yeah,
like a hyperbole.
okay.
It really it hits me hard
That's what I'm saying.
when it should just be a noise in the air that I tune out.
Right.
Eventually, I'm able to either tune out or get the heck out of the store. But when it first pierces, it's like the sharp end of an arrow just coming straight through me. I can't not feel it.
Hmm.
If the couple in front of me have had a terrible argument, and I don't care how good her makeup is and how big her sunglasses are, and she's in front of him and I can't see her, I know she's standing there, and I know he did it. And sometimes I change lanes. There's certain things I run up across that I realize the reality of it and that there's nothing for me to do about it. There's nothing at all. My call is to be a simple observer, to witness it, to know that it existed, to know that that woman existed, to recognize her right around him and not even through him, to see her, or him. I had a client once, he was the abused one. To see someone for who they are is sort of like giving up your ownership, giving up your demands. You're able to see them authentically, not the way you'd want them to see, to be, to look like. I've made that mistake many times where I saw someone the way I wanted them to be, how they could be,
Mm-hmm.
how they would be, but neglecting that it would only be for a moment, which was not nearly long enough.
Well, I think that holds true even in relationships
Mhm.
where you see somebody, you want them to be that visual you have of them. And
Mhm.
maybe for years you see that. And then one day you realize that's not who they are. They were
Really,
never,
so that's
they
that's
were,
where the extra blanket goes. Mhm.
they were never that in the first place, but you thought they were. You saw that, or you wanted to see that. Um, your phone number, 276. Is it, do I have there? 276 579
Yes,
2883.
that's me.
Yeah.
Call up and you say, I heard you on the radio or whatever. I heard you talk to Steve, and I want you to talk to me. Here's my name and my phone number, and I'm in Bangladesh, India, or I'm in Singapore, or I'm in Peoria, Illinois. You tell me where you're at on the globe, and I'll call you back. We'll make an arrangement. We'll make some appointment time that'll be just for you. Be anything from the night before Christmas to the night before last, to the lifetime before last. Why do you have those certain tendencies? Why is it every Christmas you freak out? I can help you with that and maybe get around it, find a new way to see Christmas.
Mm.
Have a lot of us have phobias about the big holidays because one time when we were sick, something really awful happened. Or one time when we were 36, that was the day that, we got divorced or something. But I can help you find the happy back and get you your happy back. You don't have to be sad because this is a time of year. You might be sad because you're not getting sunlight and vitamin D, but beyond that, I can tell you a story that might help you out, make you change the way you see yourself in relation to the world, help you remember how big you are, how big you've grown, how smart, clever, beautiful, good looking, smelly, and that you are. I can help you remember that.
I can
And
say with complete certainty that nobody tells a story like you. And every story has a meaning and message. And I've seen from people that have reached out to us here that you have insight. You got something, some kind of intuition, but it's different. It's not, you're not a medium that reads from the other side. You might get something.
we talk back and forth all the time, but I'm not taking their lip and passing it off to you unless
Yes.
that's really what I need to do.
Well, okay, that might be what somebody's needing, and I feel that they will get what they need when delivered from somebody like you, whatever it might be. It could be you're going to tell them a story, but there's going to be a message in that story, or whatever insight that needs to be told. But I never knew in you about you picking up on somebody's voice and the energy and kind of read them already before you even start. I guess you did start by listening.
Well, think for a moment. Think for a minute. When you listen to big band swing, like Benny Goodman, da 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 da, you do this, which is not what you do when you listen to hip hop. You read the sounds too. We all
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
I just get a little further into the cause of the sound. And since the sound belongs to you, you're the only person I'm going to talk with about it. Privacy is important,
This is an
especially,
instrument. This is an
yeah.
instrument.
And mine is finely tuned.
Not mine. I can't sing. You'll never hear it. I try, done karaoke a couple of times. There was some video going around. Never happened again. Um, we're out of time. 276-579-2883. Uh, I think it's
Janis
a
Reed, message Janis Reed on Facebook if you want, or call the magic number. Tell
yeah.
me who you are. Tell me your number for me to call you back at. And tell me where you're at, so I'll know when to call you.
And get some insight from somebody that's got a lot of it in terms of intuition. Janis, thank you very much for hanging with us today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, 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 Yoka.
Next time I'm going to get you to sing. It's going to happen.
Yeah, me and the Crows will go for it for you.
Yeah, all right. They're the backup singers for you. Yeah.
The doo-wop bop.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you very
Lovely
much.
Afternoon.
You too.
Nice talking with you. Hope
We'll
you
be
have
right
fun.
back. You too.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.